Litecoin and Bitcoin targets. What's up, guys? Hope everyone's having a good day. Today we're going to take a look at Litecoin and take a look at Bitcoin. And at the end, we're going to take a look at that gold to Bitcoin comparison charts. And also, I've added some trend lines into the macro Bitcoin chart just to check out. It's kind of interesting, so stick around to the end and I'll show you that. But first, we're going to take a look at the targets. For those of you that have been watching the channel, I apologize not making a video the last couple of days. Not much has changed anyway, as in my targets. So I had problems with my computer. Also been really busy at work. So anyways, I hope everyone's having a good day. We're going to look into the charts now and see what's going on.
1, 2, 3, jump!
All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Anybody that's doing any investing or any trading in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind that this is a speculative market. So with that being said, before I begin, if you guys haven't already or you're new here, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed. Tick the notification bell to get notified when I post new videos so you don't miss out on anything. And if you would, please give it a giant thumbs up and leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of the video, and let me know what you think is happening with Bitcoin in the long term. Are we bearish or bullish? So interested to hear what everyone has to say. Also, I did start the Discord channel. I'll leave a link to this down below in the description, so check that out. And in the Discord, you know, feel free to share your charts, whether you've been trading for 20 minutes or 20 years, you know, it doesn't matter. I like everybody to share. We can all learn from each other. So yeah, check it out. Anyways, let's look at the chart here. We're looking at Litecoin in the 4-hour. As you can see, I had this target up here at the 59 that we've hit. So I'm going to get that target out of the way now. And let's take a look at what's going on here. So you can see I have this channel drawn up here. Obviously, you remember this channel we've had drawn here for a very long time. And we're just going to look at the targets real quick. And if we do for these targets up here, if we do a measured move out of this channel from where we broke out, we would measure the length of the channel, move it up to where we broke out. And that's what gets me around the 68.22 range. Let me double check that real quick. I'm going to make sure I got it right. I'll move this over a little bit. But yeah, that got us up to the 60, between the $65 and $68 range. And then if we take a look at this as the Adam and Eve, and we do a measured move from the neckline, which would be about 41.30 down to here, and then we bring it back up, set it to where we broke out of that, and that's what got us to this, the target that I just took out of there. Excuse me. So yeah, we've hit that target off the Adam and Eve. Now, could we have topped out here? It's possible, but I do still see another move up, guys. Again, I could be wrong. We could have topped out here and due for a correction. We'll take a look at where the possible corrections are after we go through the targets here. So looking at the next target I have up there, if we do a measured move and look at this as a cup and a handle and the breakout, this would be from the neckline down to the bottom. And the neckline on this would be about the 47.50 range. And then we would bring this up to where we broke out, the 49.50 range. And that gets us to this $72 range here, which is possible, guys. I'm not saying that we get up that high right now, but that, yeah, for right now, I am looking at the 68 and the $65 range as our targets, and then a possible correction after that. And I'll get into it and show you why now if we zoom in a little bit, so you guys can see what's going on here. I had these bull flags drawn here. And if we take this is a bull flag here. We measure the flagpole, which would be this distance right here from where we broke out down there. And then we'd put it up to the top where we broke out. And that's what gets me the $68 range. $68 to $69 range. Now, if we look at, we formed another bull flag here. And if we zoom in, I'll show you how I like to look at my trend lines, guys. As you can see, sorry, a little laggy. But anyway, as you can see, you know, we broke out here, came back down, tested it right here, and I believe we're popping up. This is why I believe we have at least one more move up coming here before a correction. And we'd measure the flagpole right here to where we broke out and put it up to where we broke out of the flag. And that's what gets me up to the $65 range. And if you notice, I have this channel drawn here, and that brings us right up to that channel. Now, we could still go to the 62. You know, obviously, we could print another bull flag coming down here and then coming up to the $68 range. But as of right now, guys, I am looking at the $65 to $66 area for our next target before a correction. Also, I am going to look at where we would possibly correct to. We'll look at if we're, you know, if we were to correct from where we're at now, where our possible correction would be. And again, guys, if you haven't been watching my videos, I do believe we have seen the lows. Not to say that it's not possible that we come down to do a, you know, a double bottom, but I do believe we've seen the lows. And again, guys, I could be wrong. You know, everybody that's saying we have lower lows yet to come could be right, but I do not see it. So anyways, we're going to take a look now. And the way I'm going to measure this, guys, is as this here is a wave one. And I used to use, I started out using Elliott wave theory, and I still use it a little bit in my charts, but it's more so the Fibonacci that I use and not so much the Elliott wave count. But anyways, this I'd measure as a wave one, wave two, and wave three. And I'll show you, if we measured this as a wave one, we would measure the bottom to the swing high. And then as you can see, we came down right into the golden ratio, or the golden pocket, whichever you want to call it, which is between the 618 and the 65 range. So we bounced off that, and that's where I come to believe that this is a wave three we're making now. And as you guys know, I'm bullish, so obviously if this wave 1, 2, 3, you know, 4 could retrace all the way down as long as it doesn't touch, you know, doesn't go past wave 1, which is at 4110. So if we go down below 4110, this is all invalid. But anyways, so yeah, I do believe, and if this was wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get a wave 5, that would be a macro 1, and then we would get another correction for wave 2. So anyways, that's just my theory as of now. But let's look at where we would go if we were to correct from where we're at now, and this is wave 3. So if we were to correct from where we're at right now, we would measure the bottom of the wave 2 up to where we're at now. As you can see, the golden ratio range would be around the 4130 range. But obviously, like I said, if we broke this, which the exact number is 4157, if we broke that, this count would be invalidated. But we could correct around the 50, the 0.50 range, which would bring us, you know, possibly down to, let me scoot this over to test the bottom of this channel again. Now, again, guys, that's if we were to correct from here, but I do see us having a move up to at least the $65 range. And if we take a look at that, that would bring us to, if for a correction, if we made it down to the 618, would be around the $43 range. But I believe we're probably looking more at the 0.5 range, the 50% range, which would be around the 47.67 if we were to correct from there. And then if we look up at the next target, if we were to make it up to the 68, and again, guys, I think we at least go to the 65 range. But if we were to get up to the $68 range, then we're looking at the correction, you know, possibly around the $48, $49 area. And if we got a shallow correction, which is possible, you know, around the $53 area. But for now, we're going to take a look at, we're going to stick with these targets. I see us getting up to, like I said, at least the $65, $66 range, possibly 68, the $69 range. And I do have this higher target up here around the 72, which I showed you earlier. So we're going to take a look at the RSI. Whoops. Take a look at the RSI here and kind of see what that's showing us. Let me stretch this out so we can take a look at both of them at the same time. As you can see, I've had these two trend lines drawn in here, which we've been using as support and resistance. And then I just drew this line this morning, and that's from each peak here, the resistance. And this is why I believe we have another move up. I'm going to show you in the RSI now. I do believe we will come up into this area, which would be the top of this, which would be the top of where we had support, resistance, and I believe we're probably going to get some resistance again here, and that'll bring us up to that between the $65 and $68 range, guys. That's why I'm looking at that range. So just so you know, we'll take a look at the daily. And same here. Let me get that out of the way. Had this rising wedge drawn, and I do believe we come up to possibly test the top of this. If we do, that'll bring us up into obviously the much higher targets with the 72 and up. But as of right now, this is what I'm looking at with that. Let's get into Bitcoin, guys. And again, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, tick the notification bell, smash those likes, and leave your comments down below. So, looking at Bitcoin, we're going to take a look at the targets I have in here. First, we'll take a look at the higher targets. And again, guys, when I show the higher targets, you know, those are just targets for, it's not like we go straight up, you know, there's going to be a lot of movement in between, but I'm still just going to do a measured move on the higher targets so we can see what that is. And as you can see, I had this symmetrical triangle drawn here that we broke out of, came back down, tested for support twice, got support, and broke through this falling wedge here. So I'm going to bring this up to where we broke out, and that's what gets me to this $4,900 range, guys, that I have in here. And I've actually I have it a little widened between the 49 and the 5,000, right in that area. That's where I have that target. Now there's also a higher target, and that would be looking at this. If you look at this as the neckline right around the 4180 range, and it measures as a atom and an eve, we would do a measured move off the atom here, the neckline. It actually, yeah, right here, and then we would move this up to over here. Now that's if we break this 4180 range, guys. Then, you know, then this comes into possibility with the 5200 range. I do believe that's possible. We kind of got to watch, see how it plays out, guys. But that's definitely a possibility. And another way to look at that would be using this as the neckline, the 4114, and doing a measured move off of that down to the bottom, and that would be an inverse head and shoulders. And if that was to play out, guys, I believe that gets us up to this $4,900 range again. So that's two things pointing in that range. Definitely possible, guys. This trend line, and again, just like in Litecoin, I believe we've seen our lows. And I do believe that it's possible that this trend line right here is going to hold. And later on in the video, when I go into the more macro view and compare the gold to Bitcoin charts, I have that line in there also from way further back. So it all matches up pretty well. Now let's go into the RSI. As you can see, I have these trend lines drawn in here at the RSI. Excuse me. So I do believe we have another move up, and I'm going to show you where I believe. Before I do that, let's look at the daily also in the RSI. And we have to get this out of the way here. But looking at the daily RSI, obviously I have this line drawn in here too, which I believe we're going to break above and come up in this area again to test up in this range. If not, guys, watch the bottom of this. If you're not drawing your trend lines in, I suggest you do that. And I have this drawn as a channel here. And watch this bottom line. If we do drop through that, that could be, you know, the start of a big correction. So just keep that in mind, guys. And I'm going to go back into the charts here. And we're going to look at what I'm seeing right now as the short term for our targets. So, all right, this might be a little confusing, guys, but I do want to show you what I'm looking at here. Now I had this drawn as a bull flag, I had this drawn as a bull flag here with these two lines coming down. And then I'll show you how I get these, guys. So if you're doing your own charting, you can look. But I drew this line looking at this bull flag first. I used the top of this candle here, this wick, to this wick and down, and then the bottom, this wick, and the bottom of this wick down. So, and looking at that, you can see, sorry if this video is gonna be a little longer, guys, I just want to go into a little more explanation, but you can see how much effect it had. And we broke out here, came back down below, and then over here, and if you look, that line has been where the candle bodies ended and started. So that still means it's significant to me. And then we're going to look at these as more of a bull pennant was forming, and I used the top of this wick and the top of this wick, bottom of this wick, bottom of that wick. And as you can see, that line also had a lot of importance because this candle body stopped under it, this candle body started above it. So I will take those as the breakouts, and we're going to take a look at both ways. Now if we measure this bull flag, take a measured move off where it broke out to the top, and then first we're going to use this breakout off of the flag and take a look at that. And that gets us right up to the 4160 range. And then if we take that, move it, and look at it as the pennant broke out, then we're looking right back up to this 4180 range, guys. And just like in Litecoin, I'm going to take a look if we were to correct from there. And I'll take a look if we were to correct from where we're at. And like I showed you in Bitcoin, the wave count, Elliott wave count, I believe the same in this. You know, this would be wave 1, wave 2 corrected to the 786, which is a deep correction. And then wave 3 would, you know, get us up to these targets up in here. And that's if we can break this 4180 range, guys. But let's take a look if we were to correct from here. And this would also count even if we get up to this area or start correction from here, because we've reached this point here, which I believe would be wave 1, 2, 3, subwave of wave 3. If you don't understand Elliott wave, that's going to be kind of confusing, but if you do understand it, you'll get what I'm saying there. But let's look at if we were to correct from here, what targets we would be looking at. As you can see, I had this target drawn in here, which is lined up perfectly with the golden ratio or golden pocket between the 0.618 and 0.65. And that would, if we were to come back down and test it on this neckline, we also have a support resistance line there around the 3650. And that would touch the bottom of this symmetrical triangle, which is the long-term trend line on the bottom. So, you know, we could get something like that down there. Now, if we were to go up and go to this next target at the 43, move it up there to the 4350 range, then that raises, whoops, sorry guys. Then that looks like, you know, we could, if we went down to the 50%, would be the 3850 range for our correction off of this, and then back up. And again, guys, that's off of, if we were to go up here, you know, correction down to here, then back up. And this would be invalidated, I believe, if we went down below this line, obviously, draw this trend line, and then that's using these two lows here. So definitely keep an eye on this trend line here, guys. And so yeah, we could, you know, and if we went down to the golden ratio from there, we'd be looking at the 37 to 33 range. But I do believe we at least come retest this top up here, guys, at the 4179 range. And that is about it for that. Now let's get into the gold versus Bitcoin charts. As you can see, I have some new lines drawn in here, and we'll take a look at these in a little bit. I'll show you what I'm looking at there. But I want to show you, here's gold, here's Bitcoin, gold, Bitcoin. And as, whoops, sorry guys. All right, so if we look at gold, well, I drew the same trend lines. There's a dotted line here from the peak, and then the solid line here from this second peak. And they both go to where it broke down over here. And then I have the long-term trend line down at the bottom. And if we look at what happened with gold here, and again, guys, if you look at what happened with gold here, we never had a big capitulation candle. We stayed above this bottom trend line, but there was never any big capitulation. And something happened here right around 2003, and that was the ETF got approved for gold, and that's what shot it up. And I do believe that we're probably looking at the same thing, and not to say it's going to be the ETF, but there's going to be some big news right in this area. Because if you look, here's the dotted line down to where we broke down and across, and then the solid line from this second peak, and then the long-term trend line. And if we take a look at it, you know, we're right in that area where something had happened to gold. I believe we're going to get something happen, something catastrophic that is going to, you know, change everything in this. But I drew these trend lines, and I'll show you how I drew them if you guys can see it. But I drew these trend lines. They're each from the peaks, from each peak here, and they each come down to touch where we broke down from the 6,000. And you can see these all have significance here. You know, we've touched this one, came back down, retested it, broke through it. Now we're testing this one. If we were to break up through this one, you know, we may come up. There could be a lot of bouncing around, but then we come up to test this one, I believe, and so on and so forth. And that, you know, just start a gradual run up and eventually turn us back into a bull run over in here somewhere. So that's what I'm looking at now. Now I'm going to go into the RSI. We're going to look at the weekly, and you can see I have these two trend lines drawn here. This was the 2013 bull run and then the bear market. This is the 2017 bull run and then the bear market. As you can see over here, we bounced down, come back up, got resistance here on the RSI, which was this trend line, came back down and then broke through it. Well, over here, you know, just like over here, I have this trend line drawn and we broke down, and I know it's possible that we hit this and come back down to a double bottom, but I don't believe so because of the fact that we already broke through this, just like we did over here, come back down, test it, and move up. Well, we did the same, came up, back down, test it. And that's why I do believe the bottom's in, guys. And let's go into the monthly and look at the two arcs I have drawn here. As you can see, I have the 13 bull market here, 17 bull market here. And each time the RSI hit a low, I put an arrow there. So there was 4 lows here before the sideways action and then the continuation up. Obviously, in the 2018 bear market here, same thing. I have 4 arrows, each lows on the RSI. And now we could get some sideways motion here till, you know, maybe July or August, and then continue the bull run. So yeah, that's my view and what I'm seeing, guys. Hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Smash those likes. Don't forget to subscribe. You can subscribe by clicking the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. Give that a click, then tick the little notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. And I will see you in the next video. Have a good day, guys.